been an interesting journey for my son. Like he got this award,
He's
which shows that he excelled in the army. But naturally, he's not someone who follows orders. He's a bit like me, like a bit, strong-minded, and following orders isn't natural for him. But then that's part of when you go beyond yourself and do something that's not natural. That's when you really excel. That's one that's part of what we're actually getting to now with the Beinoni.
Right.
That the Beinoni reached a level where he pushed himself so much, he became his habits, his focus became so refined that he was zocher to a gift. What was the gift? Ibor Neshama. We're gonna do the summary because it's important. The Ibor Neshama that he got, this birth, this Neshama, this extra level of Tzaddik, came down to him from the Neshamas of Tzaddikim. Like I don't know exactly who and what and how, but somehow the Neshama of a Tzaddik comes into you. And it gives you extra kochas once you really push yourself to constantly do Rotzon Hashem, to habitualize, to be bottled to Hashem constantly, insistently. So
the notes on the thing it actually says the Rebbe himself says this is that on the lessons in Tanya, it says that it doesn't mean that your nefesh and your Beinoni is not there. It's still there. It's almost like you get like a booster shot.
Yeah, so you're still a Beinoni, but you've
not Chas Hashem, the booster shots we know.
The ruach, you get a ruach, like an extra level of tzaddik. So I feel like that's what happened a little bit with my son. Like it was against his teva, and then Hashem sent him a higher level of who he is. We all have greater potential. We're only utilizing a small amount of our brain, and we have an ormakif around us, this light, this potential light of who we can become. And it's all about actualizing our potential more and more. Doesn't mean once again that we're becoming mamish tzaddik, where our YITZCHAK voice is now a mere or dead, and we hate it with our whole essence. We're not, and we're loving Hashem with all our kochas, and that's probably not happening like every day.
At least for you.
For maybe, but for most of us, it's like we have a moment of it, of revelation, of where Hashem reveals us a high level of us, of potential, or in this case, the way he describes it, Ibor Neshama, where Tzaddik actually comes. We all descend from Tzaddikim. Like I'm from Aaron Hakohen. You're probably from, I don't know, like from, if you trace it back, it could be.
My father's adopted, so it could be my Alta Zayd that was like the Lucky Charms guy.
Oh yeah, well the Irish dude.
Yeah, but maybe from my mother's side.
Mother's side, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't make somehow I got there, And in the end, also remember when someone misgaya, they get neshamas. So to go back to Har Sinai.
Like David HaMelech.
Yeah, so David HaMelech came through Ruth, so it's not like it's not like you're lacking yichus. Yeah, you have it. Yeah. Everyone has a yichus somewhere.
It'd be nice if I had good goyish tall jeans, like I'd be a tall guy.
You should have got the tough Irish.
Yeah, the tough Irish.
Like potato farmer.
Yeah.
Schwitz in the sun in the Irish fields with the leprechauns.
My brother looks a lot more Irish than me. He's got like a red beard.
Oh, cool.
And blonde hair.
Look, David HaMelech used that redness to be Mashiach. Like that was the ace of elevation. Right. Yeah. He took that koach to fight and to make a war, to use it for kedusha, to kovish all our enemies, to prepare the way for Shlomo Melech. Yeah.
Power of ginger.
Yeah, it is. It's a real thing.
That's why ginger is.
You have a bissel of that, no?
A little
Gingy somewhere? No, you're not so ginger.
So. Not at all.
You got probably more of your mother then. Anyway.
She's Israeli.
There we go.
I have the stubbornness.
Yeah, it gives you koach to survive this all.
Or just complain about it.
Nah. Only in Israel. So it says striving to be a Beinoni. That was the whole concept of the 14th chapter. I ended off saying the happiness of the Beinoni because I feel like the last lesson we did, it brings you to a level of happiness because there's no bigger happiness than being davik to Hashem and simchu tzaddikim and being close to tzaddikim. This really should be a big matara of us in this world, a big goal. So the level that everyone has access to, it says Shmuel Diamond at b'nai-aliyah.com in the summary, Tanya summary. The midrash of the Beinoni are accessible to every Jew. Does not despise Ra, but behaves perfectly. He distracts himself from the selfish voice within by asserting his commitment to the truth. This was the beginning of the chapter, which we did. The level of the tzaddik is a gift from above, and that's why we made the second vow not to be a rasha. That was explaining the double lashon.
Right.
Correct behavior is always available to all of us. So we all can have good habits. That's really trying for sidkas. This is now where where this is where Shmuel Diamond Meir holds that all of us, and he bases it on Romanis Freeman and the Babish Rebbe, that all of us can become tzaddikim. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this was said, striving for tzidkus. The Beinoni should set aside time to develop a distaste for ra and pleasure and ruchnius. Even if this distaste pleasure is imaginary, if the Beinoni uses it to avoid doing avayas and perform mitzvahs, it's called a complete service, avodah tama. He doesn't go into the Ibor Neshama thing. So. But that just shows you as a gift. Hashem can suddenly shine at you extra levels. Why not? When we perform Shir comes, Hashem can elevate us. I make kulam tzaddikim. That's what we say in Perek Avos. And before we learn, we're all tzaddikim. Yeah. So we all have within us the ability to become tzaddikim.
So you're saying everyone really is a big tzaddik.
Yeah. Ultimately. I
knew you were
going to say it. I was having a whole conversation.
I think a lot of people in this neighborhood know what Kapalach.
I was having a whole conversation with Shlomo about thank you Hashem, because that was his main thing. He spoke about Lil Shabbos.
I know, yeah.
And he gave you a shout out. First time. I haven't had a shout out in the shul for ages. You got a proper shout out.
I know. Okay, for wearing a onesie.
Thank you Hashem. It could be worse. It could be a onesie for I don't know what, for some political group or something.
Right.
What
was he saying about it?
The main Nakuda was the
Koyach
thanking Hashem. Yeah. So I spoke to him yesterday about he's dealing with them right now. They never would give me access. Those guys, Ari, any of those guys.
Right.
They're very specific who they deal with.
Yeah.
So I felt a bit insulted, honestly.
What is he dealing with them about?
Huh?
What's he dealing with them about? Just
he's trying to do a project with them. And he said to me, they are specific who they work with.
Yeah, they're very specific.
A lot of these artists that they work with, I represent. So I thought I could collaborate and do it together, but they just went straight to my guys and like, bye.
Right.
And I'm like, I said to Shlomo, I have to say thank you Hashem about thank you Hashem. Meaning I have to work on myself to thank Hashem about thank you Hashem, because they did an assign for me. Baruch Hashem, Amochu. Anyway, serving and not serving. Two types of Beinoni. There are two types of Beinoni, the one who serves and the one who does not serve. One of the two types of Beinoni, so there's the one who serves and one who doesn't. They're just doing a summary, yeah? Service is defined as engaged in moral war. The tzaddik is called Avodas Hashem, meaning that he has already achieved the level of Eved, and that he has no longer actively engaged in the war between the Nefesh Bahamis and Nefesh Elikus. So once you become an Avodas Hashem, now we have a new concept of being an Avodas Hashem. Avodas Hashem does not just mean someone who's very strict about his learning or whatever. What does an Avodas Hashem mean?
A mindset.
Yeah, it's a mitzvah. Once again, we're describing realities. Very good. We're describing mindsets, realities of people, of neshamas, where they're at a level where they're no longer at war with the Nefesh Elikus and Nefesh Bahamis. It's a high level, meaning the Nefesh Elikus is one, basically, is what we're saying. And that's a Avodas Hashem, which is a very high level. What now? Just like we said, elevated the concept of tzaddikim, we've now just elevated the concept of Avodas Hashem. Okay, let's go. In the previous chapter, we discussed the difference between the tzaddik and the Beinoni. The tzaddik has no inclination, any of his own soul. Evil holds no attraction from him. We're still in the Beinoni concept here.
Right.
In the Beinoni, however, the evil remains strong. The Beinoni therefore finds evil desirable only through the concept of villages. Yeah, let's be honest. I must be like a Beinoni. I'm not even having demionis of being a tzaddik, because I still desire things. That whole sugi about women stuff.
There's anyone who doesn't, right?
No, there are people who don't.
People like Rabbi Shemaiah, but then he's in
Rabbi
a different world.
Be'emes hates this Indian. Honestly, I've been with him enough, and I haven't been with him recently, but even the way he dealt with me when I was at the shul on Purim, he literally run past me as if I was Shem Shemenu. Or maybe he was running to the mikveh, maybe it wasn't personal, but I handed him my name through his gabbai, but I wasn't.
You live in a Dati Lumi community.
Yeah,
so
I had all my phones on me.
It,
No, the phones probably were giving off. The tray for phones, I had the tray for iPhone, a smartphone. They were probably radiating tumor, and he ran away from it. He ran to the mikveh.
It's more my
And not that I took them out in front of him, but probably he sensed. I was wearing a baseball cap. Someone said I looked like a cab driver there. Funny enough.
I guess
that was a real insult. I said, Eliezer, what happened to you? You look like a cab driver. I said, brother. So I haven't seen you for years. How you doing?
The Baal Shem Tov and many of his disciples, they surrounded themselves with, the common folks.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a cab driver.
Right, and so a lot of the tzaddikim today, I think the reason why we don't really look to them as the like, I think for me at least, when I look at someone like Rav Moshe Weinberg, and I think to me, like if someone asks me who to me the gadol of this generation is, to me it's him or someone in his, because he's in the fight. A lot of the tzaddikim,
they're porous.
They're just in their own world.
Separate. Like he doesn't even sit on a chair. He puts a piece of wood under it.
Right, which is
what does that mean? That means the chair is something wrong, like for everyone else, and he's like elevated to this like level where.
So I always have a heart, like people used to go to Chaim Kanievsky, and I was like, we're not in the same world. I'm not going to ask him my question, and his answer is it's a different world. I need someone who's sharp, in the Muhammad. Who's in the world, who's in the Muhammad, who understands the Muhammad. But everyone says, no, the tzaddikim understand everything. I totally agree with that too.
There is some level of like a Muhammad where you're able to go to a high level person who's never had any shaykhs to a lot of the things you've done, but they see neshamas, they see the panemius. So you go to them for the panemius, but then when it comes to practical, you know how many times Simaya told me, go speak to a yoetz, a Baal yoetz in Panasa. Go speak to an expert in Shalom bias. When it came to certain sugyas, he told me, I'm not the right guy. I'm not in the sugyas of Panasa. Even the Tanya Rebbe a few times told me, you need to speak to Baal yoetz and buying property, stuff like that. I'm not the right guy. How many properties?
I go to Richard Meyer for like just a bracha, just experience, whatever. But I wouldn't ask him about a question because his response would probably be like, "Get rid of your iPhone," which might be the right thing. If I said, "What about this business deal?" He'll tell me he wants to get rid of your iPhone.
And then the Gabbai would come up to you and say, "I just send you an email on your iPhone because I want some donation or something."
No, but that's many people who go to him and ask him for brachas for partners. So whatever his response is, "Want a bracha? Get rid of your iPhone."
Okay.
Like there was a friend of mine who went to him.
So he's not the shliach for the practical
he's
stuff.
Like, you want a bracha for parnasa? He's like, yeah. He goes,
unless you're
get
like
rid of your iPhone. He's like, and you'll become a millionaire.
Holding at this very refined level. Look, I have a friend.
I told you this story, right?
They got a diamond who we quoted. His email back to you is he doesn't have a email signature. Eventually, he says on a dumb phone. I don't have.
Half of his dumb phone has emails.
No, I don't. I only have a dumb phone. Meaning, I sent this from my office. He doesn't have a phone.
Oh.
That's part of his signature. Look, there is something to it, and he manages to make business without it. But he's a yochid. There's not many people like that. But there is a reality that some people are able to. Like always, Rav Zachariah Wallerstein used to always go on about. I don't have the. So I tried to get in touch with him, and he had like a whole load of like PAs and people around him. I was like, well, they all have tray phones, so like you might as well have one. You might not be mitama yourself, be mitama your staff, So like, what's the heta? I didn't never said that to him, Hashem, but I carried on messaging those people. But I'm just saying, like, where does it end? Like, begin like. In the end, like you're allowed it, you're not allowed it, but your secretary is. That doesn't make him off the derech. He's very careful what he looks at, probably, no?
I imagine he does.
Because he's a Yerei Shemayim. That was his nakuda. He said all these filters. The most important thing is that you have your own filter.
Right.
It's hard though. That's why I'm saying when I come back to the Beinoni subject, I can't have dimyonis that I'm a tzaddik. Because I know I still love things of this world.
Right.
Like the women's sugya. Like I still have a taiva in that area. Like thank God I'm married, so it's okay. But it's not. I'm not at the point where I'm despising that Indian. And like Rav Simaya, like as I said, a woman energy would come his way. It was like a fire just turned on, like a proper aish, and he'd go. Just ish, and like no, and then like turn to the side.
That's all I remember.
Like it's like be like the Gabba, like where were you kind of thing, like keep me away from this. Like I heard he wouldn't like be in the same house as his mother-in-law when she came to visit, like, things like that. I think that's a good answer for every husband, anyway.
Right? No, my mother-in-law was coming to me now for like a month.
No.
I told my wife I'm already overwhelmed and burnt out. She's not even here yet. Because they're we're not going to get into it.
Hashem help you. How are you going to make it back here for Pesach to do it for Brennan?
It's not far, a half hour away.
Oh, and you're in Yerushalayim.
When's up Nachman's birthday?
Nachman's Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
Oh, it's Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
Yeah, so it's next week.
So when's Baal Shem Tov's birthday?
Baal Shem Tov is Chayel.
Oh, he's Chayel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make a thing with Joey.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think which day.
The Babich Rebbe's Yud Aleph Nisan.
But that's too close to Pesach.
Pretty close.
When is
There's also there's another Rebbe from the Babich. I almost went Beis Nissan's a big
when is Rosh
big yacht site in Chabad.
Chodesh?
It's one of the Rebbes, huh?
Rosh Chodesh is next week,
I
right?
almost went there once. What?
Rosh Chodesh is next
Before
week.
Corona. Rosh Chodesh next week.
We know what day now. Tuesday.
I haven't looked at the calendar yet, but it's coming up.
Tuesday.
Right now Chaf Gimel. Today is Chaf Gimel.
Oh, today's Chaf Gimel,
So it'll be a week
definitely
today, yeah. So it'll be a Tuesday. So Chaf Gimel is the Sheva Yemei Milum. It's the beginning of Yemei Milum when Moshe Rabbeinu set up the Mishkan and it fell down and set it up. Sheva Yipul said it could come, that whole thing. You know, the Joey.
Right,
now you
right.
can sing another Joey song. You know,
Right.
how's it go? So,
Fall down.
get back up. He sings it like 7 times. And then we get to Rosh Chodesh Nissan, which is when it actually stays. Hukum Mishkan. Yeah, and that's the Shemini. That's Parsha Shemini. That's the Shemini. This week's Parsha. It's Mamsh everything in the Fia Parsha. Zeh Yuvan MASHA Kosev. With this distinction in mind, we may understand the verse Shavtem Risem Bein Sadik Lavasha Bein Oved Elakim Lasher Lo Avdu. So hear this? We got this new definition. When you return and see the difference between the righteous man and the wicked one, between him who serves Hashem and whom serves him not. You hear that?
Yeah.
Real Avodas Hashem. What's the mispah for Avodas Hashem? Yeah, it's the same mispah as my son's knife, funny enough. What does it say on my son's knife? I'm actually going to use it as the cover photo for this learning. What's the mispah? Come on.
What is it? A 101.
101. That's it. What's his unit? Unit 101.
101.
That's the true Avodah Hashem.
It's Kim, right?
I think there's a whole Torah about 101.
One of all the Sephardim, right? The Sephardim do. You probably know. What's
101.
his name? Ben.
101. He's the middle talk
Very
about
old.
that. 101.
Big Indian. They write whenever they write checks. It's 101.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's Kuf Aleph, which is Adam Kodmon, which is like, you know, if you want to go to Reb Morgenstern
right.
Torah. But it's also there's a whole he has Torahs about
Also a
these
song by
Misparim.
Vamshi. Ever hear that song?
What? Adam Kodmon? No.
Atzilu. You know the song?
I don't hang around with the Svat
It's
guys
an
enough.
amazing song.
Send it to me.
YITZCHAK.
But anyway, so look, see the 101, Gedud 101. So that's
He goes through all the stages of
when you get your Telush, when the first time you work for a company, they give you a 101. So when you fill out your form with the information, it's like a big thing in Israel.
But they give you a 101.
The number 101 obviously has significance. I don't know. It comes up a lot.
It's an amazing song.
In Yiddishkeit, the concept of 101 is chazering 101 times, 101. 100 times not enough.
Right,
It's the
101.
extra one. What's 101? 100. 100 is Samach Mem.
Right.
Gematria Samach Mem. It's
Right.
that extra one that defeats the Samach Mem.
Right, the
It's that
Samach
extra push. That's like in everything in Yiddishkeit, really. That's what I was saying about my son. So the Tzaddik here, his name's Nate. Yeah, and also the Tzaddik also, but the rabbi, the Tzaddikim sit here.
Right.
But the idea that the Nate, he was saying that Kaveh al Hashem, Chazek v'yametz libecha. What happens?
Right.
Suddenly you have a moment where it's difficult.
Right.
Kaveh al Hashem. Hope again to Hashem. Yeah? Just keep hoping, keep pushing that extra little push, that one more push. That's the nafkamina between not serving Hashem and serving Hashem. And we see that in our life. Just as you're about to blow up in front of your wife and give it to her, if you hold back, suddenly you got Gan Eden for the next day or so.
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes.
Or maybe. And then if you give it to her, you're in Gehenna for the next day or two because you gave in. You couldn't just hold out. All you have to do is hold out that moment in the machlokas and not give in to the Yitzhak. And suddenly it really is. It's all Hashem's doing. It's constantly pushing us to grow. And so we're learning as well. We have to do that extra chazara. That extra. Amen. That extra chazara. The significance of the 101st revision will be explained further in this chapter. We're going to talk about it 101. The idea when you're learning 100 times, what difference does it make that extra one, really? The difference is, it's the difference between a Beinoni and a Tzaddik. That's really what it means. Or Eved Hashem Mamish. Or Eved Elakim Be'emes. Shahafresh Bein Oved Elakim, the Tzaddik, who Sha'ovid hu Loshen Hava. It's Loshen Sha'ovid. It's Loshen Hava, which is present tense. Shu Be'emsa Havoda. He's still presently laboring in his divine service. Shehi Mohammed im Yitzhak, he's still fighting Yitzhak. That's where the Beinoni are. Liz Gaber Alav, Ligosha Ma'ir Katana. and he's constantly fighting over and banishing from the small city, which is the body.
Right.
That was Keheles, Nadarim, all the different Gemaras, all the different Makor that we brought before. Shalom Isbaj, but are very good. Should not vest itself in organs of the body through Machshava Diba Ma'aseh. Through thought, speech, and action. So he's fighting in this avoda. He's trying to serve Hashem. Him who serves Hashem. Should be emes avoda v'omul gadol elochem bo tamid. His constant battle one's even nature truly entails much effort, service, and toil. Hainu Beinoni. This is the Beinoni. So that is the Beinoni. So look, he's not a tzaddik, he's a Beinoni. But how is he Beinoni? Because he's constantly Oved Hashem. What's the Oved? He's not an Oved Hashem, because that's a high level. But he's Oved. He's Oved Hashem.
So I don't know, how do you read the pasuk then?
Yes, he's not an Eved. Eved Hashem means he's conquered. Oved means he's still in the middle of the Muhammad. That's the chilek. We're going to see. I think we're going to clarify it as we go.
Asher lo avda is it tzaddik then?
I think so.
Interesting.
Because there's a higher level where he's now conquered it. That's the nakuda. Between him who serves God and whom serves him not.
Again, this is all like the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, right? That he, that the good deed that one of the simple blacksmith will do reaches higher levels than that of which the sophisticated tzaddikim were doing, because the purity in which he's doing that.
The purity, that's the Shitas, the Tamimus.
Right, the Tamimus.
Which Weinberger's favorite concept.
Tamimus, yeah, he's very into Tamimus. They're all into Tamimus. There was a yeshiva in Brooklyn called Torah Tamima. Messed up all my friends.
They weren't with Tamimus, unfortunately.
They were not Tamimistic.
They were the YITZCHAK of Tamimus, which is what? Perfectionist.
Right. They were,
that's the perfectionist.
They were the.
That's the Jewish YITZCHAK. There's a few of them. Codependency, to perfectionism.
Right. They were from the Klippa side of it.
I'm very close to, back in the day, I haven't spoken to him for a while recently, but I used to talk. Mordechai Weinberger, LCSW.
Oh, I've heard of him.
And he always used to talk about those two Jewish YITZCHAKs, perfectionism and codependency.
Yeah, well, no, the YITZCHAK for perfection, like Jewish OCD, it's like a nebuch.
Yeah, and it can ruin people in the yeshiva world because they're not in a healthy, balanced environment.
Yeah.
Avosadik nikra Oved Hashem b'shem Torah. So you have to take this concept, obviously, in a balanced way. It doesn't mean you have to every time you learn 101 times Chazara, all your shagets. Yeah. You can't be like that.
Yeah.
It has to be on a real way that you keep learning, you keep growing, and you chazar as much as you can. You try become an Eved Hashem be'emes. You work on it. You don't become a chana nefesh. you keep balance.
Don't be a Drake cup.
Yeah. Don't let the Frum Nidnik take over.
Right.
The Tzaddik, on the other hand, is designated as servant Eved of Hashem. A touch conferred on the person himself. There's not many description one's active role as designation. I once had a chavusa. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Hanan Solomon. He's a very big guy and was fat one time in Shalom Rav, and then his brothers have met Mizmor and the Solomon brothers. He's part of the Solomon family. Ben Solomon's son. Yeah.
How you doing?
He's an Avodas Hashem, and he used to make me learn with him like Chazar. We did one daf, I think 101 times. And no one else ever did that to me. He made me sit, and every time I speak to him, that daf comes up. It's a daf and tinus.
Entire daf.
Daf, tinus, yud. Daf, yud, and tinus. And we went over 101 times. And he said each time we'll mechadish something. Each time we did, actually. It was geschmack. We used to do it as our own chavrusa, nothing to do with the kollel. We were in a kollel in Boston. We were in a Boston kollel. But he used to make
one time each day, or we did it like 10 times a day?
No, we did it a lot, like every day for a while, until we got to the 101.
Right.
And he's the kind of yid who's probably done that on like a lot of shas already. But
Right. Something about that, right? You'll know the whole thing.
He takes it literally, yeah. And he really does. He really. But I don't know. It was very intense.
Yeah.
The term servant is similar to the title of sage or king. A stolen one who has already become a sage or a king.
I like this, a noun. B'shem HaToar, he wrote is a noun.
Yeah, it's.
I guess you would say, right, I don't know what Toar actually means. That's
it's a designation, a description.
Right, I like a designation. I mean, he's just he's an Eved Hashem. He's already like, You know, it's like he's reached that title.
Yeah.
It's like when someone's so wealthy that his money's now working for himself. You know?
Yeah,
it's like a new
China,
level of wealth.
China.
Like there are certain people that get so wealthy where their
And
money.
he's so clever because he brought in all these people around him who is
Yeah.
close chevra, who they like probably now do most of the work.
His money works for him.
And he can just get on the plane and go from here to there.
You
And
can
do
just
the-
go private jets
Yeah.
all day, different
Minyanim.
tzaddikim in Morocco,
Minyan,
Iran.
bring a minion with him. And he's got these guys who are A-class businessmen who are all his boys. Like
boys,
mini
yo.
shiners,
His
building
niggas.
up these Shiner empires and under him.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's-
they all build their own. It's a crazy.
Yeah, it's a whole Monty
My
empire.
brother-in-law is like part of it.
Really?
I don't know why. For years, I don't know how he did the X-ray business for them. And this, you know, it's
Yeah,
like
because they got all the hospitals and
all the hospitals, nursing
all the
homes.
nursing homes and the properties and
It's a whole.
now the whole food business because they got all these catering things in Oman, and I don't know if that's still going. But when I went there, the facilities there is not normal.
I don't think any of his Uman ventures are profitable. I think they're more just like tzedakahs.
I don't know. I don't think that. I actually think that they've figured out how to monetize that also.
I'm sure it's covering its
There's
costs.
such infrastructure, and they have all this cheap labor. Why not?
Right, I guess so, maybe. I went to
just-
the restaurant there
They just
years
keep
ago.
it on a low key, huh? The
People are
restaurant.
going. A friend of mine told me he's going now for Reb Nachman's birthday.
Oh yeah, Rosh Chodesh Nissan.
I just can't imagine going there. I just feel like
My son wanted to go, but because his schedule's not going to work out, he's going to go Shavuot instead.
I
He
personally
pays for
don't
himself.
feel
He's going
to
himself.
go there. I would go.
He went
I wanna go to
Hanukkah.
Measurements.
Hanukkah was really nice. He went.
much wanna go
He
to
went both.
Measurements.
He went to Mezimish and he went on a tour, VIP
I
tour.
want to do Hachanas. I want to do it like a real Israeli. I want to go by myself or maybe with another yid
I'll come with you.
and just go. I want to do like a Hachanas. I don't want
Let's
to be
do
a
it.
whole, you know.
I'll come with you.
Just go to
I'm
the
waiting
bar.
for a year. My last chavrusa with, well, goal was if we're not going to go to Uman, at least we should learn Rabbi Nachman's Sfarim. Yeah?
Yeah. I want to go.
We didn't end up going, so maybe I'll come with you.
I went to Measurements once.
I went with Judah Klein. We had a really good time.
I wasn't like really.
Moshe Weinberg was with us on that trip.
Yeah.
It was, no, in a Ruchniya sense, because we were sending
Weinberg
pictures.
is coming in June
Yeah,
with his shul.
yeah, to here. Yeah, I saw that.
He's coming in June.
He'll do a trip around Tzadikim Stammer, right?
Every year or two he does his shul trip. So he brings like 30 guys.
It's like $4,000 minimum, right?
Yeah, it's whatever.
cheap.
So this year he's just coming there to Shalom. I think I'm going to join the trip just, you know.
The Israeli part.
I mean, I think they're only going to be
Oh, they're not going to Europe?
They're not going to Europe this time, no.
Oh, wow.
So they're just going to be here.
One time they went to Hanukkah. I was on that whole chat.
Right, I went to one.
So I had a habit of joining the trips, but I never ended up.
Yeah, I went this past year. They went to Italy. It was weird.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was amazing just to be with him. It wasn't like Italy's like a weird place to be. Anyways,
There was a lot of Yiddish stuff there.
yeah.
Is there a Shimshon was from Italy?
I think we might have gone to the Zereshim.
But he doesn't have a kever, so I mean, I don't know where it is.
We
But he is one of the Tzadikim from Italy.
went to the Ramchal's place.
Oh.
We went to a couple of random cities. Went to the Bar Benel, but like
There's old shuls there as well.
not old schools. Went to old schools, but like it was just like it was cute. It was nice. And then until we got there, it's
My uncle has a I don't know if she's Jewish, non-Jewish, I don't know what she is, but he has some sort of very close woman friend who does all the guides around around Italy for Israelis, for Jews.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny, and she's got really into Kabbalah. She's learning Rambam. She's become very Jewish. She came here like for my son's bar mitzvah a year and a half ago, and she was like talking Torah to me the whole time. It was so interesting.
Safiro.
Yeah.
Safiro.
Yeah,
Like the
Safiro.
chakras.
Aber Sadi Nikra Ved Hashem B'Shem Torah. K'mo Shem Hochem O Melech. K'var Nice Hochem O Melech. She sent me a picture a week ago in some famous shul in Italy. We're still in touch. K'zer K'var Eved V'Gomer L'Gamrei Avodas Hashem Imara Ad Ki Gushu V'Yelech Lo V'Libo Hala B'Kirbo. So too, the Tzaddik has completely accomplished the service of waging war with the evil in him. He's banished it, has gone from him, leaving the seat of evil nature in his heart, void of him. And we complete the task, earn the title of Eved Hashem. So, the Eved Hashem is a Tzaddik who's rid himself from the Yitzhak, whereas the Oved Hashem is still fighting. He's Oved Hashem. He's in present tense. That's the Beinoni. The Tzaddik is Oved Hashem, is Eved Hashem. Excuse me. Let's get the tenses right. Him who serves Hashem. And him who serves him not.
Tzaddik is an Oived Hashem and an Avodas Hashem. An Avodas Hashem or an Eved Hashem.
No, he's not Oved. He's no longer fighting.
No, sorry, Tzaddik is not an Oived Hashem.
He doesnn't need to be Oved. He's done that battle.
Avodas Hashem.
Imagine that. Imagine the Menuchas and Nefesh knowing you destroy the
Hashem.
I'm sure his new reason he's in creation is not just to be in this like Gan Eden state. I think now he has a achrayas for everyone else. All our Muhammads.
Right. So he's like an Eved. The Eved or Avad?
Eved Hashem. He's like David HaMelech, David Avdecha. What does it mean? He killed his YITZCHAK. So what was he doing? What's the point now of being in the world? Yeah. So what's the point? The point is to be David HaMelech. What? To be an Eved to the nation, to bring down Tehillim and serve Hashem and get ready for the base of English. There's still plenty to do for a tzaddik.
Right. A lot of.
Just it's not that inner struggle. The inner struggle he's already accomplished.
Interesting.
It's now about.
It's almost like our generation doesn't need the Eved Hashem anymore. We need the high level Eved Hashem.
The one who teaches us how to fight the YITZCHAK.
Like it's almost like we're at that point where we like the Mashiach that we need the Gula, the Torah, the Tzaddikim that we need today, or we need the Oived. We need the Oived Hashem, the ones who are fighting it with us. Will teach us how to fight it as well too within our own lives.
I'm going to stretch our mind for a second. I think that we are at a level where we are on a Pneumius level, and it's this. I'm basing this on the Yiddish Kodesh. I'm based on my conversation with Diamond, based on Manis Friedman's Torahs. That we're at a point where, as the generation gets more and more dark and Tumidic, on the external level, the inner level of the neshamas that are coming down are purer and purer.
Yeah.
On the inner level. To the point where the only way that they're able to serve Hashem is because they're a tzaddik within.
Right.
Because there's so much external noise of impurity, how can they serve Hashem if they have that same kind of voice inside?
I agree.
Because really, inside they don't. Inside they actually have a very small. It's not as big as the. That's my feeling.
I think about.
We're really very close to becoming all tzaddikim.
Like I grew up with my grandparents who they're still alive. They're like Holocaust survivors. And I don't know how I haven't had a conversation like this yet, but I think they're on the same page where it's like, as a kid they would be like, oh, this generation, you guys are so schmutz into the schmutz. And I think now they've started to realize that like this and it's like I see within the next generation from myself, like my kids and these friends, like these kids are only going to respond to the realest of the real.
That's it.
It's like their level of like it's just not going to work anymore. The way
I have to limit my divrei Torah at the table with my family to almost just an intro to the Suda.
Right.
Because to start saying Torah like Arichas, anything long, they're not interested. And it's not because they've low level concentration or anything like that. They want real conversations. They want real.
Like the days
my wife says, talk real. Stop talking Torah. Say real. We want to have real. My sons will say, I want real conversations, Tati. They want to talk real stuff. They don't want to hear like droshes.
See this. They want to hear like the.
They want to see how does Tati actually live it. That's what they want to know. Are you actually holding by it?
They want to hear.
Don't tell me what Rav Maya says. Don't tell me what Rav Shlomo said in the shul. Tell me what you are living.
They want to know. They're the real. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like.
YY talks about this all the time.
Yeah.
He says the generation's much more emistic. That's why they can't solve the system.
But that's also why they're. It's like it's the
go in your place
for the same reason that the question, go back to outside. It's funny. I said this years ago to someone who was in Kiwi. He said, "What do you think we need to do?" And I was like, "Kids are not interested anymore in like
BS.
Like you're gonna sit down and learn a Gemara with them. Like it's gonna be nice, but like
it would seem that then
you're gonna need to show them why Judaism is better than everything else that's out there. Like, you're gonna have to sell it. You're gonna have to sell it. And you're gonna have to sell it hard.
And it's not just selling it like in an external sense,
Right, I mean,
like the
you're gonna have
onesie,
to-
thank you Hashem
yeah,
merchandise world.
gonna
It's going
need-
to really penetrate the new world of children. Yeah, it's going to have to be like as hardcore as the most hardcore Grand Theft Auto, the latest version,
Right.
like hardcore porn, like
Right.
most disgusting schmutz pretzers thing that there is out there. The trafest piece of meat that's the most geschmack ever, the hottest whatever. Has to be such fire in that Torah, such panemius, such depth, such umkus that it overwhelms that choshen. And that's why once again I come back to the Nakuda that really the only way that we can serve Hashem nowadays is because we have that tremendous light within us.
Right.
Because it's the only way we're still able to go
Light of
over.
the Beinoni.
No, it's more than that. It's a panemius light of Yechida. It's the light of Mashiach. The only way we overcome the Yitzhak every day is because this light is coming from such a deep source. So when we're able to kovish the Yetzer, because otherwise externally we're lost.
Right.
You see how quick someone can fall. A guy can literally be, and you see these yeshiva guys, they're sitting learning, and the next minute they go out one time with some Yetzirah dude. He introduces them to heroin, and that's the end of it. He's a heroin addict. He's into the new, what's the new one now? The pandemic in America that's knocking everyone out.
Oh, fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Suddenly he takes a bit of fentanyl by accident because someone put it in whatever he was supposed to be one more lesser thing, and suddenly he's just done fentanyl, and now he's like either dying or like on the way. Yeah, like it can literally go from
One time smoked synthetic weed.
yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I've had really bad hash and bad where they put crap in it from Amsterdam or something, and it's really you can play with your head. It's dangerous. You have like what's it called in the drug world? I've forgotten the name, but you don't have a high. It gets you wasted. There's something to it. It's a bad trip or something, So
So here, okay. So the next part is
Beinoni yesh gam
we have the
kein.
tzaddik, we have the Rasha, we have the Beinoni, and who's this one that does not serve Hashem for the
Beinoni yesh gam kein shtei medregas ovid elikim asher lo avdu. In the Katya Beni, v'afal pi kein einu rasha. Yeah, he serves him not as wicked.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, why? Why is he not wicked? Serves him not is not wicked.
Because he never committed. Okay, like avar miyama v'shum avera kala.
So we're now learning a new concept. That there's two levels of Beinoni. Ki lo ava miyama v'shum avera kala. And he's never committed a minor transgression. Now that's a high level. Yeah, what's he
It's like
saying?
the Mrs. Man creation.
He never missed man Krishna.
Right, I don't know. He didn't say that here. I'm just laughing because I don't know, being over on not committing a mitzvah saseh, right?
Yeah.
I guess that would be a shema.
Kaimis is koef shalola kaimen Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. He's also fulfilled all the parts of commandments which he's able to fulfill. Precept of the Torah, so he's equal to all the other commandments. Lo pasik pum megisa. The Torah never stops from his mouth. Ela she'enu osa shum muhammad imayetz. He did not wage war against his evil inclination. The nuts are yidei or Hashem me'ir al nefesh alakish v'marach hasholit al alev canal. To vanquish it through the aid of the divine light that illuminates the godly soul abiding in the brain, which rules over the heart. So
here, okay, so he goes, this
what's he
sounds a little
saying?
crazy.
Now we need some Chaim Miller.
He doesn't say that yet.
Rabbi Miller.
The Ella. The next one.
Yeah, but
The
Ella.
answer.
Oh, the answer.
But despite
She'einu oisa Shem Muhammad imiyetzor.
There. You just did.
L'nitzo ayidei or Hashem me'ir al nefesh alakush v'molchu shalit al leiv canal. V'nei she'en yitzo omid lenegdo klau v'batlu mitaraso v'adoso einu sach lochim imol klau. The Zion does not oppose him at all in the attempt to deter him from Torah and divine service, and thus he not need wage war against it. Yeah, so that
he follows us from Yitzhak basically.
yeah,
basically what he's
he's
trying to
Avodas
say.
Hashem.
Because she'ein oiseh shum milchama im hayitzer lenatzah al yedei or Hashem hameir al hanefesh alikus she'omarech hashalom al alev.
Yeah, no, he's gonna explain it. It's like you have these guys, these guys from Yeshiva world.
That's what I'm saying.
Kigon, Shehu Masmid, Belimuda, B'Tavur, B'Tadoso. Yeah, these more like definitely nothing like me. Yeah, I'm so far from this. I'm like these are the if you want to take the opposite of me, it's these guys, the Masmid, who their assiduous nature. They're like they have no drive. My wife was saying to me, like, she was on a chat the other day, and some man some woman wrote, I want to find my husband a sex therapist, because it's just not like 10 years, it's like become like parrot.
Right.
I don't know why she wrote that publicly, but she wrote, and someone sent her sex therapist's number. But never, there's men who don't have a drive. I can't relate to it like even a little bit. I'm the opposite. Yeah?
Right.
I ran a nightclub called Pimps and Whores. Yeah? I'm just letting you know that when I was in
Hashem.
secular world. Like, I'm the opposite. The supreme drive is not my issue in life.
Right.
Yeah. But these guys never. But at the same time, it's a madrega in Yiddishkeit. Why?
Yeah.
Because they don't have this nudnik drying a cock, so they're just naturally a masmid. Their teva is they're a masmid.
Right.
See there, it says it. They have no conflict with the sexual desire.
Where do you see that? Here. Okay, we skipped the part. Right.
Sorry.
Right. Meaning he's
See this dude? He's not running the nightclub. He's just always in base midrash. He never had that time period in his life where he had a drive.
From Yitzhak.
Yeah, these dudes. I mean, you grew up with them. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't grow up with some. When I went to yeshiva, I met them. I never was like that. I lived near the Mir, so I definitely probably was around a bunch of people. I definitely had a feeling that they did have my ear. So they just didn't. Right, similarly, with other mundane pleasures, he need not exert himself to master. He naturally lacks any feeling for enjoyment. You hear that? Yeah? You hear that? They don't have this feeling for enjoyment like I do, yeah? Or like many other people who are more like had Avodas Hashem and have more of like a drive, yeah? Those kind of guys, they call them like, I don't know, there's a word for it. What's the word? Placid. What does he say there?
He wrote, what do you mean?
What's the word for these placid? The masmidim.
Masmidim. Oh, he goes, humoralism.
What's that mean?
He goes black bile.
What?
That's what he calls morishkara.
Why did you get there? You jumped. I don't know where you are.
Oh. And then he goes,
yeah.
What would cause the Yitzhak to be benign like this? The causes could be.
Oh, you're right. It does say. Is guvur is hamara shchora. That's not good though. That's not good to be more shchora.
Of course not. Which leads to an analytical and serious temperament.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly talking about the Misnagdus movement, which unfortunately still exists today.
You mean they don't have any chiyas? Like, it's not energy.
They just sit and they learn. I remember guys, when I was in yeshiva, they would sit and learn. And they were just like...
There was no life force.
It was nothing. I mean, look at them, and I'm saying this is why I became non-religious. Is like I'd look at these guys who were like, Chaim Zalman, it was such a tzaddik, he sits and learns for 12 hours a day, and I look at him and be like, your life stinks. Like, you mamish look like
you've got the scarf around there like, in the middle of the summer.
He has a scarf, he's like frail, he's like drinking tea and it's 100 degrees outside. He walks around, he dresses like a schlepper.
Moshe Weinberg makes fun of these dudes.
And like, you just like,
I heard him in his rants.
Like, where is your keys?
He used to make fun of these guys. Like, they've always got food outside their room because they're like, because they're always sick.
Everything is, when I was I used to, when I was in high school, I was a troublemaker. Yeah. Wasn't shoes, smoking Shabbos, whatever. And then I was black and white. I went from one extreme to the next. 12th grade, I grew payas, and I would just sit and learn all day. 12, 13 hours, 14 hours a day. Like mamish, like I didn't know a word. I didn't know how to read Gemara. Nothing. I taught myself how to read Gemara. And then for Beis Medrash, I wanted to go to a school. One of the top schools in America is a school in Perek. It's called Yeshiva, something Perek. It's like hardcore yeshivas. Like the guys there all go to bris. Like this is like the best of the best schools. And I remember I went there for Shabbos. And I remember it was till today, and I have Shabbos that I didn't keep Shabbos, right? I used to not keep Shabbos. Like, that was the worst Shabbos of my life. Even worse than the Shabbos that were like, I was so depressed. There was no oinig of Shabbos. They were just like, the Shabbos meal was just like, you would just sit there and the guys were shuckling. and eating soup and chuckling and eating.
The whole point was to get to the learning,
like,
back to base
get
wisdom,
back
to the
tire,
chavrasa.
like there was some guys were like learning while eating, and it was like there was like this mirror was like just like let's get it done. And then they had seder after Friday night meal. They had like seder, and it was like it was like the whole thing. There was no life. I remember leaving, and I wasn't a chassid, I wasn't anything. I didn't know. I just remember feeling like this place, and Hashem saved me. I don't even know how He saved me because I didn't get into the school, and He really saved me because I really believe if I would have gone, I probably would have I don't know what would have happened to me, but not good things because that place was beyond depressing. I remember like just feeling like this place.
But there probably is a status in that place.
Of course, it's known as one of the most.
So the status sometimes becomes more important than the panemius.
Like when I told people, the reason why I picked that place is because that place was considered the best.
Good shidduch.
This was the best. It was like the best of the best. And guys were like, oh, and like, and I was so hurt when I didn't get in. So I was like, why wouldn't I get in? I was like the biggest masbid in my yeshiva.
There was Yeshua that you didn't get in.
I was so crazy. I refused to partake in anything in my school, so they had a graduation party.
So he said he naturally lacks any feeling for enjoyment.
Right, he lacks. Right.
So hargish hana b'tivo.
And
that guy
is what's funny is when I was in that state, eventually I crashed, and within 3 seconds I went from learning 12, 14 hours, like really learning. I would go to sleep at 2 a.m. I was a zombie, and then one day I just crashed. I think I laid in bed for like 2 months and just like.
When I tried that one time, that kind of avoda of just overly learning, I crashed.
But it wasn't from a place of
I
like.
burnt out.
Yeah, I burnt out.
I had to start again.
I fried myself.
What I did, the yeshiva didn't provide this, but I just started working on. You need to change the time.
I did. Sometimes it thinks I'm in the Arabs. They don't change the time.
Really?
Yeah, because my laptop, I had to change it because it thinks I'm in.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
It thinks I'm in Hebron, Palestinian territory.
I turn off my location. I want them to know where I am.
You don't realize how racist all these little things are.
Oh, well, the ways and all that stuff.
Just these little minor things, like the way they write it, like Palestinian territory. Like,
F them.
It's the.
I know, it's same on Instagram as well. It pisses me off when you choose location. So you have to work hard to find Israel,
Right.
It's settlements, like everything. Anyway, Shem Shemenu.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I was like reading Wikipedia yesterday, and I was just like,
Wikipedia's way off.
So why is it even allowed?
Mark Cuban was saying, and to Lex Freeman, I listened to the podcast. I'm not really a fan of Mark, but he did say an important point that the idea, hopefully, is that the markets will correct this sort of tendency towards the left. It will get corrected eventually.
The problem is that
as long as they don't have full control.
The problem is that
because people get turned off by this sort of left.
Yeah, but the problem is that people don't have information. I got picked up from a cab driver when I was in New York.
Yeah.
And he's like an Indian guy, nice guy. I was getting nervous now taking cabs. I don't know who's going to show up. We're talking about Israel, and he was like, I don't know what the truth is.
Yeah, that's true.
And I told him, I was like, you want to know the truth? I was like, my friend, my Chabrusa's son, I didn't say Chabrusa, I was like, my friend's son was fighting in Gaza, and he saw with his eyes people shooting at him while holding children.
Yeah, babies, as human seals.
I was like, that's something I heard from his men.
And he saw it with his own eyes and saw them doing that.
What do? Do they shoot back? They have to.
Yeah.
And between me and you, it's...
Yeah, that part you don't have to talk about. Let's talk about the other side of it. We also got our bias. But anyway, the point is, for this reason, does not need to contemplate so much on the greatness of Hashem to consistently create a spirit of knowledge and fear of Hashem in his mind. So he's not really misboning on Hashem because he doesn't need that whole strengthening his nefesh elikus. Why? Because it doesn't have so much of a nefesh bahamis anyway. It's like it's garnished. Lashma shalom over al mitzvah lo taseh. In order to go on some transgressing. Yeah, Torah's not going to come to him and schlep him. These neshamas, and I always try to. Every so often I try to explain to from birth people the whole nisoyan with the teenage world. I mean, one guy did this at his Shabbos table, and I was trying to give him a heads up. I was quoting Rav Weinberger and Rav Zechariah Wallerstein and all the big mahanchim in America. And he was saying, no, that's talking about the Mia, there's a few teenager risk. The majority of Bachrim are all good, la 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 la. I think half of his kids are off the derech now. Like, or not on his derech, you know, they're on their own journey. Like, definitely not like the way he is, yeah? Right. And he wasn't humble enough to listen to my because I was almost giving him a heads up.
I tell kids all the time, I was like, you need to do things. Like when seminary girls come here, I was like, so what did you guys do this year? And they're like, Perek Hashem. I was like, listen, I'm going to be the only one to tell you this. I was like, do something stupid. I was like, stop it with your like fitting into the box. Yeah. I was like, do something stupid. I was like, go out with your friends and get drunk. And go to a bar. I was like, you don't have to like. I said it to them. No, because
they're like, don't. They're like, they tell their behandling.
I was like, you're
don't
so
censor
afraid
that
of your
guy
own
again.
shadow. I was like, you're so afraid of your own shadow. I was like, you know what's going to happen to you guys? You guys are going to get married. You're going to check all your boxes. You're going to have your 2 kids in 3 years. I was like, and then one day you're going to wake up and be like,
I never did anything.
I didn't do anything in my life. I was like, and by the way, I have friends like that. I have friends who...
And then the women start freaking out later on. They become like, these feminists, like rebels who divorce their husbands and hate everything.
Or like, I have friends who went to Brisk, who checked every box. They went to the best high school, the best base matters, they got the best shidduch, and now they're like 35 years old, and they live in Lakewood, and they are like having this midlife crisis of I never did anything in your life, and now suddenly when they're married with 5 kids or 4 kids, they're smoking weed all day.
Hey, you're talking about me now.
They're going to strip clubs. They're going to like, no, I'm saying they're smoking weed. They're going to strip clubs. They're going to like private jets. They're like, they're partying and they go to casinos.
My midlife crisis manifested as wearing a baseball cap. That's about as off the derech I went.
Yeah, BORUCH Hashem.
No, the way I channeled it is I'm about tshuva, so I felt like I could channel my past rather than it be a hindrance.
No, so the idea is what he's saying is that you can't beat your Yitzhahara by depressing and suppressing yourself. You have to beat your Yitzhahara in a Muhammad.
Yeah. It has to be in the real talk.
You need a Muhammad.
Real talk, real life.
This is deep Torah, by the way.
Yeah, real. This is Tanya. It's the deepest. This is coming from the Penimis of Chassidus. This is teaching us how to be an Avodas Hashem.
Right, you see this with everything.
It's
like someone
means to
who's
be
like, I don't want to eat, I have a problem with eating food, so what are you going to do? You're going to stop eating food?
Yeah, people go down the path of precious is avoidance. That's avoidance.
Yeah.
You actually have to face your tigers. You have to face your inner drives. You have to face your darker side. You have to work with the darker side. You have to learn how to
also like
elevate
a big concern with the other thing is that
and that's going to help your hinuch. It's going to help your Shalom Bayit. It's going to help everything.
This isn't like a generalization, but it's also a generalization. Is when you hear people saying this is the problem with this is the concern with Breslov, with the mindset of like thank you Hashem, is where you have people who are just like thank you Hashem, and you're like you're doing the same thing, you're bypassing your issues. You're like
trust me brother, I worked for 5 years. I worked for 5 years for the Breslov organization.
Thank you Hashem.
I heard all the droshes about thank you Hashem. Who's a good approach to this?
Thank
Hashem. Who's got it clear? Gedalia Fenster. Why?
Right.
Look, why has he got it down? Even though he's Breslov, so you say maybe he's also avoiding. Right. The answer is not avoiding, because he went through the rehab way. Anyone who's gone through the 12 steps is not avoiding. There's no way, because if they're avoiding, they'll still have their addiction. The only
to be a healthy.
It's the 12 steps together with Breslov. That's when it works.
Joey has a lot.
Or therapeutic. It has to go together, because that balances out the breast of derech for our generation. Otherwise, it does become avoidance.
And you end up just
doing a spododus, Rabbi Nachman, everything Rabbi Nachman. What about you? What about Rabbi Eli? Yeah, Rebel. Right. What happened to you? Everything's Rabbi Nachman, everything's the Tzaddik. You're just avoiding yourself. Everything's Mashiach and Chabad derech. Yeah, everything's the Rebbe, the Bavitcher Rebbe. What about you? Where are you? Yeah, the Rebbe he told you specifically. He said you have to finish the job, not me. So he wants you to become the best you can be, which means you have to face yourself. What's Gedalia's famous statement? Don't stuff your face, face your stuff. Right. He has all these statements. I love this.
Doesn't he have a book on that, like little one-liners?
He's putting something out like that.
I think he put it out already, no?
I didn't see it.
Or maybe not. Like one-liners, a book of one-liners.
We'll see him this Wednesday. He's coming here, Wednesday night. With Shlomo. He's going to teach with Shlomo. He's going to do a shir here.
I know.
he told me, he gave me heads up. He's coming. We're friends. I talk with him every so on. But the Gedalia, I've been to his rehabs. I've been to his what do you call it? He's got a few things. He's got, what's the halfway house? What's it called? A halfway
house, sober living.
There's another one where you have to get detox. I've been to the detox. Beautiful places. Yeah. And plus where he lives. So he's living a very high level Gashmias lifestyle. But he's trying to be Avodas Hashem. Yeah. Which means Muhammad Sayyid, which means what? Getting up early, doing his spodulas, giving over shirim, giving over chizuk, constantly trying to live up to that chizuk, facing himself, facing his shalom bias, facing his realities. It's hard. I've been to Miami. I've seen what it's like there. We don't have those kind of tests. I don't have a wife who's where his wife's at, with all the gashmias and all the shefa and the fanciness. I don't have that in the soil. Yeah. I don't have the beautiful bay house, which I have to figure out how to pay every year and day, and all the staff and all the institutions that he's running, and yet he's still serving Hashem. So that it's Pelelic. Yeah, it's a big deal. He's a big Avodah Hashem, in my opinion. He's fighting a lot, and he's, in my opinion, he's winning. Beinoni. Yeah, he's a solid Beinoni, definitely. I mean, I don't know inner parts of his heart, but the way he runs himself.
Well, that's the part of a Beinoni, is that we don't need to know the inner parts of their hearts.
That's true.
We can assume
that they're fighting.
They're fighting.
That's it. That's all we need to know. It's and that's what it's good, because Rosh Hashanah said that yesterday. He said it's not your business to know about someone else's Gehenna. Stay out of that. It's not your business to know other people's problems. Right. Your Nakuda is
my business, not other people's.
Yeah, you have to face your problems and Malam is chus everyone else, or be a chizuk, source of chizuk for everyone else. Right. That's our job of everyone else.
I'm good at judging people. So me personally, I have a p'tur to judge people. Me personally.
No, you don't. Yeah, only.
I can judge people.
No, the Rav Simcha ben Peshiska says you have a right eye for what? To see the good in everyone.
Right.
The left eye what? To see the good and to look inwards into yourself. To now judge yourself. It's the only judgment was given for yourself. Because the truth is, when you're judging other people, you're just judging yourself. That's what it says in Shemayim.
Right. Whatever you see
Yeah, you're just making a judgment on yourself because you're the one perceiving it.
It's called The Quest of Authenticity.
Oh, that sounds like a nice book.
It's a book about Reb Simcha ben Peshiska.
Oh.
Because up until then, I didn't really know his life, so this was a good deal. Okay, I got to get going.
Yeah, me too. So we'll just end off one line.
Appointment in Tampio. No,
very good. The Shmo Shelo Over Al Mitzvahs Lota. In order to guide himself in trust in principal commandments, that's the idea that he has this constant fear in his mind. Avodas Hashem belibo the dafka bekim a mitzvah Talmud Torah keneged kulam. End off with that.
Yeah.
He also needs to create a love for God in his heart. How does he do that? Fulfilling God's commandments through Torah study, which equals all the other commandments together. And the next thing we're going to go into Ella, and we'll get into this idea, this Abbas Mysteris, this hidden love. And this is going to take a lot of work. This itself is going to be an avoda. Because just learning this is an avoda. It's hard work, this Torah, because
this is the real deal.
This is the kishkas now of the inner struggle.
This is the crux. It's called the crux.
Just going to I really appreciate everything. Tomorrow we're not learning because you said you got passport.
Not mine, just my wife.
Thursday, yeah. Thursday
morning with Hashem's help.
After the shir. So we'll be a little bit later, but Hashem gives us Thursday. Oh, Wednesday, you're right. So Thursday we can